Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome back to another day of our cardstock spotlight showcase slash use your scraps slash get ready for your craft fairs. This week we're doing a lot of craft fair fun stuff. Actually, I'm doing all Valentine's Day. I'm getting a head start on Valentine's Day, not gonna lie. So today's color is Pacific Point. It is an absolute gorgeous blue. It's kind of like a royal blue, if you will. Pacific Point is 111350. And it is part of the Brights collection. I cheated. I'm looking at my catalog on page 122. There you go. It is a beautiful blue. I enjoy this blue. Alright, so today's project is using the gnome stamp set. So the gnomes paper collection, it is a Christmas collection. However, it's just winter. This is just mushrooms with snow, toadstools with snow. So I just used the sentiment, the Happy Valentine's Day, and we're going to turn it into a Valentine's Day treat, right? Because not everyone likes pinks and purples and that kind of stuff. And so my son, he didn't care what it looked like. As long as there was food involved, he didn't care. My daughter was more into blues, and so she enjoyed the non-traditional Valentine colors more so than the pinks and purples. So I tend to do Valentines in different colors. Anyway, that's my spiel. So let's go ahead and make this. It's very easy. You can do two at the exact same time, and I will tell you more about that in just a second. You do need to have some type of punch. This is the fancy label punch. It is retired. You can cut a rectangle to trace. It needs to be 1.5 by 2.25. So you can pretty much use any 1.5 by 2.25 rectangle type punch or die. So if you come through here to the die section, which starts on page 168. There's a couple of different die sets that have that measurement rectangles. So if you're looking at your catalog, you could probably use something from Designer Tags. You might be able to use the rectangle from, where is it at? You might be able to use that. If you have the mini pocket envelope dies, you could probably use that. The painted labels, you could probably use that one. So yeah, just pick out one that's approximately that size. You could probably use maybe that rectangle from Potted Succulents. So there's several different, alternatives you can use other than this punch. Or if you don't want to use punches or dies, just cut out a rectangle that's 1.5 by 2.25. Okay, it does work. Here's mine that has the 1.5 and 2.25. Unfortunately, I ripped it, and so I can't use this one because these are actually going out to people. But all I did was trace and cut out the rectangle, and it works just fine. The punch is going to be faster, but what else? Alright, so the snack that I'm putting in here are these Twizzler Nibs. They come 5 for $1.25. My state doesn't have tax, and so it is $1.25, so that runs me about 25 cents per pack. You can charge $1, $2 for these, and you're making a pretty good profit, to be honest. And they just kind of stand up. You can decorate the top, the back, you can go crazy, but again, if you're sending these to your child, your grandchild, your niece, whoever, school, the kids aren't gonna keep them. They may show them to their parents. I don't know, but you have to keep in mind your audience that most of these little treat gifts people are going to throw away. So that's why we're using our scraps. Because they're gonna get thrown away. All right, so let's go ahead and make it. You can make two at the same time because the measurements are 3 by 11. But if you want to do two at the same time, cut your paper 6 by 11. Do the same exact scoring and then cut it in half at 3. Okay. So I'm just going to do one. So 3 by 11. On the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 1 1/4, 2, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 7 3/4, and 8 1/2. Okay, again, 1 1/4, 2, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 7 3/4, and 8 1/2. Okay, so this is where you would have done that whole page, and then you would have put the short side and cut it in half at 3. So you would have 2 treat holders at the same time. Okay, so how you need to position your paper is, you see how this is a one big square and then one rectangle. That's going to be your top, and this one down here that has the multiple lines are going to be your bottom. Okay, so set your paper like so. Okay, that is just a horrible view. Like that. Okay, now what you're going to do is take your punch. Excuse me. You're going to put your punch all the way in, center it, and you're going to punch it out. Okay, or if you don't have your punch, you're going to take your 1 1/2 by 2 1/4. You're going to measure 7/8 from the bottom. Put a little, so 7/8 from the bottom. Put a little pencil mark or whatever. Put your rectangle there, trace around it, and cut it out. Okay, it's very simple. Or your die or whatever you're using. I'm going to go ahead and use my punch because it's quick. And I have a funny feeling a lot of people have this punch. So, or a very similar label punch. I have like 4 that are very similar to this. So, we tend to all buy the same stuff. Alright, so punch it out, or you cut it out, whatever you're doing. Now, what we need to do is, your paper is still like this. So you can still see your score lines. Right? This very first score line is going to be a valley, so you're going to fold it up. Make sure it's even and varnish. Okay? While you're folded up, you're going to put your tape right back here. Use your super strong tear and tape, red line tape, whatever tape you have. Glue in this spot is very messy for this one, so that's why I chose tape. You can obviously do what you want. Alright, so your next score line is going to be a mountain, and then all the rest are mountains. It's just easier for me to lay it flat to varnish it, so you're going to do what's comfortable for you. You're going to turn the paper all crazy ways to get that good varnish. Okay. Let's go reset back to first position. And what we're going to do is flip it over to where now your tape side is over here to your right. We're going to remove the tape, and we're going to bring this, make sure there's no overhang, and we're going to bring this to this score line here. Okay, so again, we had it in this position where the valley is on top and all the rest of them are mountains, right? We're going to flip it over, and we are going to bring our taped edge to the score mark. Now it does try to fight you a little bit, but you know, you're the boss. Okay, and then just make sure that is down. So your thumbnail looks like this. Okay. You could decorate before you put it down. I mean, I rarely do. Put your snack in now, snacking later. I just picked this because it matches my paper. It has the Pacific Point blue and it has the red color. This is actually Poppy Parade, but that's more of a real red, but it still matches. All right, and we're just gonna do very light decorating because again, you know, they're gonna toss it. So I know that sounds harsh, but that's the reality. So we're gonna go ahead and tape this piece. This piece measures 2 7/8 width by 2 3/8 height. Okay, if you have directional paper, make sure you do that. Your first cut is going to be your 2 7/8. All right, now what I did is I went ahead and took one of the little gnomes. I fussy cutted it out of the paper collection, and then I glued him down to some white cardstock, and then I cut him out with the die. And then now what we're going to do is just add dimensionals to his little feet. You can do this part, the closure part, with any die, any ephemera, anything. She had the oval punch because she wanted the sentiment on the double oval punch. That will look cute there. You could even use this if you, put a piece of white in there. You can use that. Will look cute on there too. You can use your little rectangle if you don't write on it. You know, whatever you want to use as a closure piece. Just make sure you do not put adhesive on the top of your closure piece because you still need to be able to open and close it, right? This one's a little bit too tall, but I just really love the gnome on there, so it's a little cumbersome, but it'll bear it. Alright, so whatever piece you have as your closure piece, you're going to, oh, I put mine on crooked. That's okay. Close your box where it should be closed so that way you know where to put your, let me do it right side up. And then put your closure wherever you need it to go. Make sure you can open your box and it closes nicely. And that's it. And I just put a little Valentine's Day sentiment from the previous, the stamp set, a retired stamp set that I have. And I put 9,000 dimensionals on the back. And we are going to go ahead and center this as best as we can. Now, I cannot remember if I told you guys who this tutorial was from. I'm going to tell you again because I've had to do this video a couple times. But it is Create with Terri Gaines. And this was called her Halloween treat holder with the fancy label punch. A long name, I know. But you know how we do. So if you want to see her tutorial, definitely check her out. And I hope you guys make these boxes. Thanks for watching. Bye.